Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. It's been a tumultuous week, but we made it. Let's jump into the story today. What happened this week? Thank you all for coming. Hello, TND Tesla. Hello, Mopbots, Audio Eye. The whole gang are here. Happy weekend. Thanks all for coming, and not financial advice as usual. And thank you to Patreon too. I've got to go a bit fast today because I have some errands to run. And I cannot commit the whole day to working, but this video will be quite interesting for a number of different reasons. First of all, check out the market the last 7 days. A lot of people are completely freaking out that we were not going to make it, that the bull market was over, etc. Well, guess what? Alts are beginning to rebound. We have Solana beating Bitcoin by nearly 7%, and Bitcoin having a positive week. Near protocol, though, dark red, XRP red. ETH even went up 3.5%. So lots of good stuff. I see Pi and Hype there too, dark green like Solana. So some stuff happening in crypto. Again, it's not dead. If we look at the week, Bitcoin has had a crazy good week actually. A bit of a dip during the week. Now it's at 85,000 as we speak. Solana is at $130 and it's gone up a little bit and everything is not bad. But let's get into the real story as to why the market's looking good. First of all, we always say here, when you look at fear and greed, it typically, when there's maximum fear, it's typically a very, very good time to buy. And this time is no different, ladies and gentlemen. Same deal. We did have a dip of extreme fear under 20 for a while. Stock market had record fear of 4 a few days ago, but now things are beginning to creep back up. Fear and greed is now 25. But if you look at the chart here and the price, again, sometimes it follows, sometimes it doesn't. But basically, when you have fear under 20, it's time to get into it. Now, shout out to Tom Lee as well. Tom Lee is very bullish. He said there is still a big window for markets to have a big rebound from here. Again, people will say he's a hyperbull, permabull, etc. But I tell you, since 2020, he's been pretty good at nailing things. And there's more stuff as well from Fundstrat, his firm. He has a bunch of analysts that do a lot of work, TA experts, crypto experts, Bitcoin experts, disruption experts like Tesla, etc. By the way, he's very bullish on Tesla. But Sean Farrell, head of crypto strategy at Fundstrat, says we like adding Solana here, core strategy rebalance. That was last night. Guess what Solana did in the last night? It shot up from 122 to 130. So maybe people are listening to Fundstrat. Anyway, yeah, Solana has been murdered. Okay, I get that. It's been terrible, but it's coming back. And that was just, again, a nice buying opportunity for us all. Let's talk about Bitcoin and treasury hodlers. This is a cool chart. Shout out to Sanjay. This is from River. But it shows you the growing list of Bitcoin hodlers. And not just miners who are beginning to hodl more, but tech companies, media companies, energy companies. We have, of course, it says Tesla is there, finance companies, cryptocurrency companies. Literally, again, you got new players like Fold. You got Janover, the new Solana one with Sol Strategies. You got Neptune. I mean, the plays are super interesting. And there's 2 varieties, by the way, of treasury companies. Guess what they are, coincidentally? One is Bitcoin, of course, the lion's share. The other one's Solana. You've never heard of a Cardano treasury, have you? Anyway, moving on. The Bull Score Index, got to share news to be fair and balanced. When you look at the Bull Score Index from CryptoQuant, it's actually very bearish. Bull Score Index has been signaling bearish conditions, 40 or below, since Bitcoin was at 96K. So maybe this indicator indicated when things are going to turn down. Right now, it's looking very bearish. You'd swear you're in the bottom of the bear market. But you got to always understand, when you look at these on-chain charts, they are driven by on-chain data, not what's happening in the macro out there as well. So bear that in mind too. But Bitcoin is rebounding and it's looking really positive as well. MicroStrategy had a great week. In other crazy news too, this is a cool chart also from CryptoQuant. And it shows you that large investor demand is accelerating, i.e. whales holding between 1,000 and 10,000 Bitcoin, rising faster than their 30-day average. By the way, I'm overdue for one of my wallet analysis where I look at the progression since 2020 of action across all the cohorts from tiny shrimp to plankton to 1 to 10, etc. How many whole corners there are, how many whales there are. So if you want me to do that, let me know in the comment below and I will prioritize it. I also owe you all a miner video. They're both coming. If you want them, let me know. Now, again, this is good news. Whales are stacking. And just watch the black line. That's the only thing you need to look at. That's the Bitcoin price. As the price falls, guess what? The whales stack more. As the price rises, they shed a little bit. So these whales, always keep an eye on them because they know what they are doing and they're moving millions and millions around. Hey, Sean Donnelly, thank you for coming. And Thelon Jet as well. The Elon Jet. I never know how to pronounce that. If you could drop a comment as to how I pronounce your handle, it would be much appreciated. And by the way, everybody, I'm so impressed that everybody has their kind of true name hidden. But if you are sharing things, talking to you, Sean Donnelly, try hide your identity in the real world, of course, and always, of course, keep your security locked down. Now, let's talk about the crazy stuff that's happening in the market and the real reason why things like tariffs and things like trying to control the bond market, the long end of the bond, the 10-year, etc., bring it down because of this little problem here. This is just the United States, and I guarantee you it's the same for the European Central Bank, it's the same for the Bank of England, same for the Bank of Australia. They are all saddled with tons of debt. Doc Intern, thank you so much. But if you check this out, this is March 2025. The US is spending $93 billion of net interest a month. I asked AI, what can you buy for $93 billion a month? Oh my goodness, you can rebuild every school in the country. You can build hospitals. You could solve homelessness. You do so much good stuff instead of just wasting it. It's bizarre. That's what needs to be fixed. And this is a cool little bus stop symbol, but it's way out of date. We spend more than $1 billion per day just on interest in the national debt alone. And no, it's more than $3 billion a day, $93 billion a month. And that's going higher unless they bring the bond down. And that's why the bond market is screaming. This is the real story. This is the debt not just of the US, but debt of every nation around the world. We are in that debt-death spiral. And it's spinning out of control. And there's no bringing this back. We're way beyond the point of no return. I used to make videos years ago of once debt to GDP hit 77%, you're dunsies, no going back. And we're at 130% now. Anyway, moving on. That's why it's important as well for the GDP to grow. If GDP stalls and the debt continues to grow and the deficits continue to grow, the death spiral accelerates. And then you get a big great reset. So that's why we Bitcoin, by the way. Great reset's coming sometime between now and 2030, I estimate. Anyhow, this is the true impact of the tariffs. A lot of people are freaking out. But when you break it down, it's not too bad. Computers, 5%. Cars got hit the worst, 21% on average. Unless, of course, you're Tesla and you source 98% of stuff in the US. Phones, 10%. A lot of people are freaking out that the iPhone would become $10,000 instead of $1,000. No, it's not the case. And in fact, I got some good news on that coming too. Other things are kind of interesting, but they're smaller things like insulated wires, batteries heavy, 76%. Therefore, the car companies need to source their batteries locally. But anyway, if you want to dig into this, check it out. If you are in the business of party goods and plastic kitchenware, you got to get hammered. Also, video game consoles are apparently through the roof too. Don't play video games, never have, but be careful. Douglas, please do a miner report. I will. Now, this is the good news. This is what we spoke about a couple of times this week, that carve-outs would invariably happen, that Tim Cook from Apple would get on the blower to the White House and say, dude, you're killing me here. You're going to kill Apple. We won't be able to flip iPhones if these tariffs go into place. Well, iPhones, GPUs, SSDs, servers, integrated circuits are all now exempt even if they are made in China. Translation, that just saved Apple, Broadcom, Dell, Nvidia, you name it. They all just dodged a big bullet. So that's extremely good news for the carve-outs, and that's why Bitcoin shot to 85K, I believe. We shall see, but next week could be good in the markets. And bond market confidence is completely shattered. This is an important angle because, as I mentioned earlier in the video, the bond market needs to get rates down, okay? And they just delivered a massive vote of no confidence in the current administration. The yield curve is steepening sharply. The 2-year, 10-year yield spreading, I think it's 110 basis points right now. And that's the widest gap since 2020, ladies and gentlemen. That's not good. The bond market is freaking out. Stock market's rebounding, and that's the nature of the game. And another good news, if you're in the US, I don't know if it's going to happen, but aside from tariffs, the US president is working on the largest tax cut in history. So that would be welcome news. Anyway, we'll see. I have no problem paying my taxes, and in fact I overpay my taxes and I pay them early because I'm honored to be here. But at the same time, I'd rather not pay for silly stuff that governments pay for. I'd rather just donate it away. So anyway, that's the situation. And ending on meme du jour, shout out to Chewy. Not that Chewy, another one, but it's this is the I can't afford Bitcoin starter pack, BMW, and a mochaccino from Starbucks, which costs like $6 or $8, stupid expensive. And that's the world we live in. Everybody, cut the burn, save, invest, and then get your Starbucks 4 years from now when things will be quite different. But be on the train, everybody. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, T&D Tesla, Sean Donnelly, and everybody else. Thank you for all the support. Happy Saturday. Be back tomorrow with a Q&A. Have a good night. Bye-bye.